SpyXFamily is manga series written and illustrated by Tatsuya Endo. It follows a spy who builds a family to complete a mission, unaware that his adopted daughter is a telepath and his wife is an assassin. It has an anime adaptation with the same name by Cloverworks and Wit Studios. The story begins with a man named Twilight, a secret agent working with WISE, an organization that secretly works for the maintenance of peace between the two countries of Ostania and Westalis. The board of WISE decided to assign him one of the toughest missions that they have, as he's their best agent. Twilight exchanged information secretly and came to know about Operation Strix, a mission for which he had to form a fake family to maintain good relations with Donovan Desmond, leader of Ostania's National Unity Party, who's been considered a grave threat to the peace between the two countries. As Donovan only goes to the Imperial School events of his son, Twilight was assigned to have a kid and enroll it in the prestigious school to have his chances with Donovan. Since it's up to him to maintain the peace of this world, Twilight takes on the mission and starts preparations for having a family with the identity of Lloyd Forger. Lloyd then went to a shady orphanage and adopted a little girl named Anya who was a telepath, but no one knows that. He took Anya to their home and went out for some admissions-related stuff. He got all the important documents from a man named Frankie. At their home, Anya messes up with Lloyd's agent stuff and, by mistake, sends a message to the government agencies exposing her and Lou's location. Loud came back home and realized that someone had entered his house. He defeated some thugs and found Anya to be missing. She was being kept as a hostage by the corrupt minister that Lloyd had dealt with earlier. He disguised himself and went into the enemy territory. He saved Anya and sent her to the police station to prevent her from getting harmed in his mission. He then defeated all the bad guys and came out, but Anya was there, waiting for him. She insisted on going back to their home, and he agreed to that, remembering how sad her past has been as she's been returned from 4 families who had adopted her. Loud then changed their house and prepared Anya for the entrance exam. She took the written exam and passed it. With all of his efforts working, Loud felt relieved. Later, he received a letter from the school that instructed him to have a family interview with both parents. Now, it was a problem. Lloyd tried to transform Frankie into a woman but failed at it. He then decided to have a real wife. On the other hand, a lady named Yor Breyer was looking for a partner to attend a party of his colleague who was mocking her. Her younger brother Yuri gets to know about it, and to prove it, she decides to find someone soon. But while she was thinking about it, she got a call from her boss, who instructed her to do her job. She goes to the location and kills the target. Her code name is Thorn Princess, and she's a professional assassin. Frankie had found the information of all the single women in the city to find a match for Lloyd. He looked through the ladies and found no one suitable. He then took Anya to a tailor, where he met Yor. She wanted to invite him to the party as her boyfriend, but saw Anya and stopped. Anya read her mind and indirectly told her that she didn't have a mother. Yor did the thing, but Lloyd asked her to return the favor by acting as Anya's mother during the interview. The plan was made, but Lloyd got an urgent mission on the same day as the party. He went on the mission and got late for the party. Sad Yor went there alone and said that her boyfriend had some urgent work to do. She wanted to sort out the stuff, but her colleague started mocking her. She got fed up and decided to leave, but then Lloyd came in and introduced himself as her husband. Things got messed up, but he handled the situation. They left the place but got attacked by the smugglers. Lloyd told her that these are his psychotic patients. She believed that, and together, both of them survived the attack. During this, Yor suggested Lloyd extend their agreement and become her husband for real, as she's been suspected of being a spy by her colleagues. Lloyd accepted the offer and became one with Yor Breyer. Yor shifted into Lloyd's home, where Lloyd showed her the fake marriage certificate that he had prepared. It was dated 1 year prior to prevent any suspicion on them. Anya showed her the home, and she was charmed by it. Later, they practiced for the interview, but both Anya and Yor were lacking in the skills to crack it. Lloyd was feeling down, but then decided to take his family for an outing. They visited several cultural places and, in the end, went to the tailor to get Yor some new clothes. They had a photo shoot and a fine lunch. Yor took him to a park, where she saw a thief. She tried to catch him, but he outran her. Lloyd found him and caught the thief with Anya's help. They returned the purse, and the old lady thanked them. She praised their family, which meant that Lloyd was successfully moving forward with his plan. Now that everything's been said and done, it's time for the family to go for the interview. They went to Eden's college, where they were being examined along with all the other families that had arrived. The Forger family was first faced with bows sinking in the drain. No one was helping him, but they did, messing up their clothes. The examiner, Henry Henderson, didn't find it elegant and disqualified them, but then he saw that the family had changed their clothes as they were prepared for a situation like this. He got impressed by this, but then a lot of animals started running amok. Lloyd and Yor thought of it as another test and saved the helpless, messing up their clothes again. The housemaster couldn't control himself and went out to thank the Forgers. He told them to have a change of clothes as the interview was delayed, but the Forger family had another set of clothes with them. At the interview, the three housemasters asked various questions, which the Forger family handled skillfully. But when Housemaster Cleve asked some offensive questions, Anya started crying. Both Yor and Lloyd got furious. Lloyd was about to punch him, but hit the table instead. They left the interview themselves, saying that they had made a mistake in selecting a school. Master Henderson hit Clive for mocking the Forgers while at their home. The Forgers were feeling sad for messing up. It felt as if they had no hope left, but Yor cheered them up, and they hoped for a better future. Of questions, Anya started crying. Both Yor and Lloyd got furious. Lloyd was about to punch him, but hit the table instead. They left the interview themselves, saying that they had made a mistake in selecting a school. Master Henderson hit Clive for mocking the Forgers while at their home. The Forgers were feeling sad for messing up. It felt as if they had no hope left, but Yor cheered them up, and they hoped for a better future. With all the possible bad luck on their side, the Forger family went to Eden's college and found their name on the list. They all got depressed and were heading back, but then Master Henderson stopped them and told them about the waiting list, in which Anya's name was at the top. If any of the selected students refuse to take admission to the school, then Anya will get selected. The family was happy to hear that and eagerly waited for 3 days for the call to come. Finally, Anya's admission to the prestigious Eden's College was confirmed. They had a celebration where Anya said that she wanted to be saved by a spy, just like in her anime. Lloyd tried to say no, but she got sad, so he was left with no other choice. Frankie made all the preparations, and they all went for the adventure, which WISE agents had made an arrangement for. All the agents played the roles of bad guys, while Anya was acting as the kidnapped princess. Lloyd was on his way to save her. Anya, along with Frankie, played some games with Lloyd while all the other agents tried to stop him. Lloyd played along, but then he was faced with a drunk Yor, who confronted Lloyd with her real strength. She fell asleep, and Lloyd won. He saved Anya, and they had a lot of enjoyment with the fireworks ending this adventure. The Forger family went to the tailor for Anya's school uniform. After that, Lloyd got a hidden message to have a meeting. On the day of the meeting, he got a call from the tailor about Anya's uniform. Now that Lloyd's going to the meeting, he asked Yor to pick it up with Anya. She agreed, and they both went their way. At the meeting point, the handler told Lloyd about the second phase of Operation Strix, which is to make Anya an honor student so that she could gain Stellas and become part of the Imperial Society where Donovan's son goes. She also needs to stay away from Tanitris bolts, as 8 of them will get her expelled. This was going to be a troublesome mission for him. On the other hand, Anya had her new uniform, which filled her with joy. They went to the supermarket, where some thugs got their eyes on Anya. They kidnapped her and took her to the backside of the supermarket, but Yor came on time and saved her. Anya told her that she wanted to become strong like her mother, and for that, she trained with Yor. The scene shifted to the inaugural ceremony, where all the new students were welcomed. Lloyd wanted Anya to be friends with all of her classmates, as most of them were the heirs of very important people in the country. But most importantly, Damien Desmond is Donovan's second son. This was his backup plan. Anya heard all that with her telepathy and tried to get close to Damien, but messed up the plan and got on his bad side. Damien and his friends kept on bullying Anya, but in the end she gathered her strength and punched him in the face. When the teacher asked about it, she said that she did it because he had stepped on her friend Becky's foot. The teacher got impressed by it but ended up giving him a Tanitris bolt instead of 3. The hopes of the Forger family were shattering even before the school had begun. The next day, Anya was still getting worried about the last day, but Lloyd helped her and told her to apologize to Damien. It was her first day of school, and she was getting nervous, but then Becky came and helped her. When she faced Damien, she tried to apologize, but Becky pulled her away. Lloyd was keeping an eye on her to make sure that things would go right. In the class, all the students were maintaining their distance from Anya, but Becky was there. Anya again tried to get Damien, but Becky kept her from doing that, saying that it was all Damien's fault. Lloyd understood that Anya wouldn't be able to do it if Becky remained around her, so he made an announcement to get her away. Anya took advantage of the situation and went to Damien. She tried to apologize but got distracted by his friend's thoughts and started crying. With a shaky voice, she finally apologized, but Damien got all flustered by it and ran away, saying that he would never forgive her. Now that Lloyd's plan had failed, he had no choice but to prepare Anya to become an Imperial scholar. He tried teaching her at home, but all of it went over her head. She was getting all fuzzy, so she ran away into her room. Lloyd wanted her to learn more, but Yor stopped him and told him that he should remain considerate about Anya's nature. Lloyd understood that and called Anya for some snacks, but realized that she had fallen asleep on her textbooks. She was trying to study on her own, remembering the promise that she had made at the castle with her father. Yuri Breyer, Yor's younger brother, works in the secret police of Ostania, which specializes in keeping and restraining spies from other countries. He was called to have an interrogation of a man who was accused of selling out the private information of the government. He told the traitor that he's going to meet his sister, who had been married, and he's going to meet her. He started the interrogation to hurry back to Yor. On the other hand, Yor told Lloyd about it, but he didn't worry as he had everything planned out for a situation like this. He waited for Yuri to come, and by that time, Anya had fallen asleep. A while later, Yuri came. He did not have a good image of her sister's husband in his mind and remained angry over all the conversation. When he asked Yor why she hadn't told him about their marriage, she said that she forgot to tell him. He even accepted that explanation. Lloyd diverted the topic and asked him about his job. Using his mental tricks, Lloyd understood that Yuri was lying and also the fact that he's an Austanian agent, a part of the secret police. Yuri, on the other hand, still hadn't accepted them as a married couple, so he challenged them to have a kiss in front of him. Lloyd quickly thought about it and decided to go for it, but Yor is still feeling hesitant about it. Yor have no choice in a situation this tight. She grabbed the bottle of wine and drank it all up. Now that she was ready to do it, she proceeded, but Yuri was not able to see it through. He tried to stop it, but drunk and flustered, Yor slapped him in the process. Yuri asked her if she had slapped him because he tried to stop them. To that end, she slapped him again and told him that it was not the case. Lloyd helped him get up and praised the lovely relationship between these siblings. Yuri didn't like him at all, so he left the place, straight on warning him for never being rude to her sister. The next day, Anya heard her parents' thoughts and realized that his father had developed a little suspicion on Yor for being an agent who's here to expose him, and to confirm that he attached a secret mic in her clothes. At her office, Yor tried to learn how to be a good wife while Lloyd was hearing all that, but still he didn't believe in her, so he decided to ask it himself. He disguised himself as an agent of the secret police and cornered Yor while she was posting a letter given to her by her boss. Lloyd tried to make her say that she knows about her brother being a member of the secret police, but till the end, she didn't say that, so he let her go. Later, while sad Yor was walking by, Lloyd went to her and said that she was perfect the way she was, and that made her happy. Thus, another happy day got concluded. Anya's classmates had heard the news that the MVP of the next sports match was going to receive a Stella. All of them wanted to get that, but especially Anya, so she received some of the toughest training of her life from her mother. Time flies by, and the day for the dodgeball match finally came. Everyone was ready, but Damien was more pumped for it. He wanted to get Stella to become an imperial scholar like his elder brother, so that his father could give him some attention too. The match began with Damien trying to get a big boy off the opponent's team but failing in the first attempt. Bazooka Bill got 5 of Damien's teammates, including Becky, but he had a plan to overcome this hurdle. He tried and failed at every moment. Bill's next target was Anya, but she read his mind and dodged all of his attacks. While she was at it, she fell down and was about to get hit, but Damien stepped in and protected her, getting disqualified himself. Now it was up to Anya to get the victory. She used her ultimate attack, but it ended up with no luck, and Damien's team lost. In the end, Master Henderson told the kids that no Stella was supposed to be given for a petty match like this. A few days later, Lloyd had Anya's test results in his hands, which were not good. He wanted to improve her overall self so that she could earn the Stellas. For that, he tried various methods but didn't find any results in them either, so he decided to take her to a medical facility, as she can also earn Stellas by helping others. They tried doing various tasks but failed in all because of Anya, and while they were leaving, Anya heard a drowning boy's thoughts. She rushed to the rehabilitation pool, and with Lloyd's help, she saved the boy. This resulted in her getting the first Stella of her academic life. While the other students were jealous of it, Becky helped Anya and asked her what present she would be getting for her results. She thought of a dog and of a plan to befriend Damien as well, so later she asked her father about it, and he agreed to get one. When Lloyd was coming home from a mission, he heard his neighbors having a bit of suspicion about him, so in order to show the world that they are a normal family, he decided to go to the aquarium. Lloyd had finished all of his work before the day of the outing but got tired because of it. While he was going there, he was given another mission to retrieve the new weapon plans from the terrorists, which were hidden inside a penguin. Lloyd didn't want to do it but had no other choice. He disguised himself as a worker and, with Anya's help, located the penguin, which had the information capsule. He retrieved the information and went back to his family with a big penguin toy. The neighbors were there as well, and they understood how much Lloyd loves his family. Back at home, when Anya tried to show his parents' room to the penguin toy, she got caught by Lloyd and got sad, so to cheer her up, both Lloyd and Yor played with her and maintained world peace with Operation Strix. Now that the Forger family has already decided to get a pet for Anya, it's time for them to get it for real. They went to the pet shop, but Anya rejected all the dogs there as they were all terrifying, and she was looking for a cute one. Lloyd was also assigned for another mission, for which he left his family at the pet shop, went to the office disguised as the boss of the terrorists, and acted as though his plan had failed. Seeing this, the young terrorists that Wise had caught told them all about their plan to bomb the foreign minister using some trained dogs. The scene shifted to a white dog who had been through a lot of experiments and now had the ability to see the future. The white dog was with the terrorists, but when he saw Anya, he saw the future of being a member of her family. Anya saw that too, and she started following the terrorists. She reached their hideout and found out about their plan to bomb the minister with the dogs. But then the terrorists caught her and were about to kill her. At that time, the same white dog tried to protect her. One of them got a call informing them that their plan had been exposed and told them to evacuate. The white dog took advantage of the situation and escaped the building with Anya. Another terrorist followed them but got defeated as Yor was there. Anya again saw the future from the dog's perspective and found that her father would die in an explosion. So to prevent that, she rode the white dog and reached the tower, where she secretly read the mind of the leader of the terrorists and found that the blast would occur if anyone opened the door, so she wrote a warning on the door with sauce and left the place. The blast was prevented, but the boss was still out on the hunt for the foreign minister, so Lloyd, disguised as the minister, acted like him and took the boss's attention. The boss tried to kill him but failed, so he sent his other dog with a bomb, but Lloyd took away the bomb and threw it into the river. The frustrated terrorist's boss tried to escape, but Yor, who was relentlessly looking for Anya, saw him and thought of him as taking away her. So she kicked his car away, resulting in a crash. She thought of him as the leader of the kidnapping gang, which she had heard about in the news. After that, Yor, Anya, and Lloyd met at the diversion, and the family got reunited. Anya introduced the white dog to his parents. Lloyd knew about it being a part of the terrorist organization, so he wanted the handler to take it away. The handler, disguised as a police officer, came to retrieve the dog, but Anya declined and said that she wouldn't go to school if they wouldn't let her keep this dog. In the end, the agents had no choice, so they agreed, and Anya got her new pet at home. Now that Anya had gotten a dog, she decided to execute her plan to save the world. First, she tried it on Becky and found it to be working well. Then she went to Damien and told her about her new dog. Damien was not interested in it, but still, to not make her sad, he asked her the dog's name. Anya hadn't decided on a name yet, so the plan got halted there. She discussed this with Becky, but didn't get anything good in her hands. Back home, the Forger family goes to a park to walk their dog. Anya had a lot of fun there. While she was returning, Anya realized that she had misplaced her gloves. She looked for them and found them with a scary-looking dog who was not giving them to her. Just then, her dog came and gave the other dog a scary look, because of which it returned her gloves. At that moment, her dog saved her like Bondman, the protagonist of the spy anime that she likes. Later, they all came back home, where Anya gave the dog a black bow tie and named him Bond, in the name of the lead of her favorite show. Few days later, Lloyd noticed Yor to be coming home late recently. She also had some injuries on her hand, which worried him. Anya also noticed this, but then the truth was revealed as Yor was learning cooking at her colleague Camilla's house. Since she's not good at it, Camilla was teaching her, on the request of her boyfriend Dominic. It all began when Yor realized that because of her cooking, Lloyd's stomach is being upset lately, and in order to prevent this, she requested her colleagues about it, out of which Camilla got up for it because of Dominic. Yuri was also invited to their home by Dominic. They first had the taste of Yor's natural cooking, which almost killed the two, but Yuri survived as he had always been eating food like this by Yor. Later, Camilla step by step taught her to cook stew, which came out to be really good. Yor prepared the same at her home too, which surprised Lloyd and Anya, but when she tried another dish, she failed miserably. Another day, Frankie the informant had his eyes set for a lady working in a restaurant, but he needs help to prepare for the conversation as he's not good with the girls, so he called Lloyd. After a lot of requests, Lloyd transformed into the girl that Frankie wanted to talk to and had a practice conversation with him. Now that Frankie was all prepared and confident, he left for his mission the next day and failed in that miserably. He ran into the forgers but didn't told them about the result of it, but both Anya and Lloyd understood what had happened with him. Later at school, Anya tried to talk to Damien, but he shook her away. She prepared a model of Bond, which was not good, and because of some situations, Damien had to work with Anya. Together, they created a weird creature, which was not good either, but the teachers had completely opposite thoughts about it, and they gave them first prize for it. Later, Damien called his father, but he was not in a mood to talk with his son. Damien felt bad, but he knew that he'd get his father's attention after becoming an imperial scholar like his brother. For this, he started studying hard and getting the top grades in his class, but on the other side, Anya was failing in this too. Now that they had the midterm exams in front of them, Anya decided to read the minds of the smartest students, but then she realized that she cannot do this as her exams are on the days of full moon and her powers won't work on these days. So she was left with no choice but to study hard. At her home, Yor had called Yuri to help Anya, as he was also an ace student. Together, they both studied hard, but in the end, Yuri failed to teach Anya, so he left the forger residence. Anya felt sad and decided to do it on her own. She studied hard and took the exams, hoping for the best. The exams were done, but Lloyd was still worried about Anya, so he decided to change her marks. He disguised himself as a teacher and went in, but there, he saw a rookie agent named Daybreak. He was also here to change the marks, but his mission was to fail Damien. He got caught at the entrance by the security guards, but Lloyd helped him out. Lloyd then went to the room where the mark sheets were stored, but Daybreak knocked him off and did his job. Lloyd was just acting to see what he's up to, and when he left, he corrected Damien's marks back. But when he saw Anya's marks, he left them untouched as she had passed in all the subjects herself. On the day of the result, Anya was happy that she had passed, but more than that, she knew that her father was genuinely happy for her. On the other side, Daybreak was scolded by his employer because he had messed up his job, and because of that, Damien had earned a Stella star. It was George, a classmate of Damien, whose father's company had gone bankrupt because of the Desmonds, and to take revenge, he had hired Daybreak. But now that his plan had failed, he tried to harm Damien in another way. He found a cigarette and told the teachers that he had gotten it from Damien, but then Anya came forward and defended Damien. Seeing that, George accepted his defeat and told them everything, including the word that he would not be able to attend school anymore after getting bankrupt. All the students felt bad for him and did what he wanted to let him enjoy his last moments in school. They even gave him farewell gifts. After a happy farewell, George went back to his father, where he realized that the Desmonds were the ones to help their company, and there was nothing for him to worry about either. This news spread like wildfire, and George felt a lot of shame going back to school, as all the students knew about it. Some of them even told him to return their farewell gifts. Later, all the students were tasked with preparing reports on their parents' work lives. Anya first went to Yor, but since she had only killing-related stuff in her mind, Anya decided to go to her father for a subtle approach. Lloyd agreed to that, and on the next day, he took Anya to the hospital, where he pretends to work. At the hospital, Lloyd was assigned another mission, so he left Anya in his cabin and told her not to mess up with his things. But she did, and even found out about a secret passage that took her to a conference room. Her presence scared the doctors sitting there, as they were also talking about the presence of ghosts in the hospital. Anya quickly went back to the room and arranged all the things in their place. On his mission, Lloyd meets another agent of Wise named Fiona Frost, codename Nightfall. She had a crush on Lloyd before, but after seeing him with Anya, her interest in his fake family increased. She wanted to replace Yor as Lloyd's wife, and for that, she went to the forger's residence, telling Yor that she's a friend of Lloyd. I read her thoughts and understood her motives. She tried to make his father believe that Yor was the best mother she could have, and Lloyd had the same thoughts as well. Fiona lost this time, but she had made up her mind to win Agent Twilight for herself. The next day, the agency assigned both Lloyd and Fiona to a joint mission to win a secret painting from an underground tennis match, which was conducted by the officials of the government, who usually manipulate the results to get the best results in their favor. Everything was allowed in this game, and the winner gets to have a piece from the general's art collection. Lloyd and Fiona took part in this competition as a couple and created a winning streak, one after another. The officials were shocked to see their top players being thrashed by some new faces, so they tried to weaken them by releasing poison gas in their waiting room, but since both of them were prepared for it, they came out all fine. Now that the officials had no choice left for them, they sent the best players they had, a pair of siblings. With the skills of the Sibs and the traps laid all over the court, both the agents were having a hard time, but they still managed to get an upper hand over the game. But then a sniper shot Fiona. Lloyd saw the bullet coming and protected her, as he was wearing a bulletproof jacket. Lloyd was prepared for a situation like this, and now to finish this game, both of them decided to give it their all. In the end, they won the game, and the executives asked them about the reward that they wanted. Lloyd selected the painting for which they had come, but the officials refused to give them that, so Lloyd ends up selecting something else. Back on their way, Lloyd tells Fiona that he had already obtained the real painting and the document when he was disguised as a museum staff member. Fiona dropped him near his home, where Fiona saw Yor and Anya playing tennis. She challenged Yor for a serious tennis match, which Yor won with her supernatural strength. With a defeat like this, Fiona was broken down. She ran away from that place while crying for her defeat, as she had once again lost to Yor for getting Agent Twilight on her side. These recent interactions with Fiona had left an impact on Yor, as she felt inferior to Fiona. Also, the thought of Lloyd liking Fiona more than her crossed her mind, which was also strengthened by the ladies of the neighbor. They were also discussing how Yor could even file a complaint against her husband with the police for cheating on her. This made Lloyd aware of the situation, so he took Yor to a restaurant for dinner, but Yor thought that Lloyd was going to replace her, so she drank a lot and confessed her true feelings to him. For the sake of his operation, Lloyd asked Yor to marry her for real, but she got all flustered hearing that and kicked him in the face. Lloyd fell unconscious. He regained his consciousness on a park bench with Yor. There, he requested that she keep being Anya's mother, as she's the best mother and wife. Yor got motivated by hearing that, and thus all of her stress regarding Lloyd disappeared. The next day, Anya and Becky decided to go shopping, where they both bought presents for each other and enjoyed themselves a lot. This even deepened their friendship. Back on Operation Strix, Lloyd gets the news about the social gathering event held at Anya's school. It's one of the only events that Donovan attends. But there was also some catch. Only the parents of the Imperial Scholars could attend this event, and since Anya had only one Stella, she and Lloyd couldn't. But still, Lloyd somehow managed to get into the school and meet Damien and Donovan. He apologized to both of them for Anya hurting Damien on the first day. He elaborated on the goods of his son Damien for his father and tried to get on his good side as well. Damien also told his father about the Stella that he had gained by scoring the highest marks, and on that, his father told him to keep it up. Damien got happy to hear that, and Lloyd, on the other hand, also managed to have a good conversation with Donovan, securing a lead on his target. He went back to his home and saw Anya and Bond sleeping together, which melted his heart, and thus Season 1 of this anime gets concluded.